Welcome to Money Matters. I'm Jackie Hyland in New York. Ownership has long been an American virtue and a symbol of status. Well, for many Americans, to own something carries a sense of pride and control. But now there's a growing trend of renting to satisfy the speedy need to own something in the moment and then returning it when it's no longer wanted. There's a word for people who do this. They're called transumers, and the trend is growing at an alarming rate. Joining me right now to discuss this trend and what it means is Eric Ginsberg, VP of Marketing at bookswim.com. Hi, Eric. Good to see you today.
Hey, Jackie. Thanks for having me.
So, Eric, I want to talk to you about this term transumers. I'll be honest, I've never heard of it before. What are they, and why do I don't keep hearing about them, but apparently it's out there all over the place.
Well, Jackie, transumers are consumers who are driven by experiences instead of the fixed, by entertainment, by discovery, by fighting boredom, who increasingly live in a transient lifestyle, freeing themselves from the hassle of permanent ownership and possessions.
So these transumers, are they most likely the younger generation?
You know, it's a really big mixed bag. A lot of the younger generation are into it because it's very accessible and it's on the internet. A lot of the even younger generation are into transumerism because it's what they're growing up with, because a lot of the older generation is finding this is what they've been looking for all this time, and now that we all have the ability to rent things from DVDs to video games to books and handbags, we can do that from our home. So it really is across demographics.
So they basically see ownership then as futile and material things disposable, which brings me to my next question. If transumers scoff at ownership, where are they getting their stuff?
Well, I wouldn't say that they necessarily scoff at ownership as much as it's not necessarily for everyone and for every particular item that they need. I mean, people are getting their stuff from Netflix.com for DVDs. They're getting books from Bookswim. They're getting video games from Gamefly. They're getting designer handbags and jewelry from Bag, Borrow, or Steal. They're renting cars by using zip cars.
And I understand they also like to go online and barter amongst themselves?
They absolutely do. I mean, there are, just a plethora of websites out there where people get the opportunity to, send off the things that they've used and no longer want for things that other folks have used and no longer want. Things like paperbackswap.com, things like bookmooch.com, where you can get rid of the stuff that's clogging up your life, that's taking up your space, free it up for the things that you actually want now, and when you're done with those things, you can go ahead and get rid of them and get new stuff without the constant costs and expenses.
Right, so you're an expert then basically in the renting industry. Why do people rent in general? Is there a psychology behind it all?
Well, there is psychology behind it in that people don't necessarily need to keep the things that they want. They don't need to spend all that money that they want. So it's a combination psychology between not needing to be so materialistic and also, not needing to pay so much for things. There's a premium to ownership, and a lot of people don't feel that need.
So you say renting is the green thing to do nowadays. How is renting good for the economy?
Well, it's the green thing to do for the environment as well as for the economy. For the environment, I mean, with Bookswim, think about how many books you're going to save, how many trees you're going to save by renting those books, as well as, being able to rent and have things come to you by mail as opposed to driving everywhere you need to go to get them. It's kind of like your books, your movies coming by mass transit instead of driving. And especially, you're right, with the economy, it's particularly good because people have the opportunity to get the things they want and still live their lifestyle without necessarily breaking the budget. Everybody's looking to live on a budget right now. Everybody's looking for how can I do two things. One, save money, and two, not give up my lifestyle. So you can still read all the books you want by renting through Bookswim. You can still watch all the movies you want by renting through Netflix. You can still have that expensive handbag by renting it when you need it from Bag, Borrow, or Steal. You can still drive a car when you need to if you live in the city by using something like Zipcar. And that's really great for people's wallets.
I have to really wrap my head around this whole concept of going online to rent a handbag. Are these handbags in good condition?
My experience with the folks over at Avell who run Bag, Borrow, or Steal is that their products are terrific. They have great handbags. They have great designer sunglasses. They have great jewelry. And, my experience when they've come and worked with Bookswim has always been a good one, and our members have always been appreciative of it.
So then, with the way the economy is, we just talked about these renting websites must be doing pretty good business. Are you seeing an upward trend in the renting industry given the current economic environment?
Absolutely, we are. Absolutely. I mean, that again, it goes back to people wanting to not give up their lifestyle, but learn to live on more of a budget. And by knowing this is the amount of money I'm going to spend this month. here's my budget. It's my membership rate. That's what I'm going to spend. I'll get all the books I can read, and I'm not going to spend more than this dollar amount. So people can have the validation of the impulse buy by saying, oh, I want that book, and grabbing it right then, throwing it on their list, as opposed to going to the store and shelling out money. So they don't have that guilt of the impulse buy, but they do get the good feeling. So the rental industry is soaring because of it.
So walk me through this just a little bit. If I was to go to your website, bookswim.com, you say that there is a fee that I have to pay up front, right?
Well, absolutely. It's just like having a Netflix account or having a GameFly account. You know, you're going to have a monthly membership fee. It's going to be the same locked fee. You're going to know what you're paying. You're going to be able to budget for it, and you're going to be able to rent all the books you want. You're not going to have to go buy them from the store, but you are still going to enjoy free home delivery. You're not going to have to worry about due dates. You're not going to have to worry about late fees, especially, which really kind of kill the budget. So you're going to be able to enjoy this without going over.
So do you believe this trend then of transumerism will continue to grow?
Absolutely, and I think that this economy right now is really the spark that the growing transumerism movement has needed, because now a lot of people who never thought of really renting things online, people who felt in their hearts a little more materialistic, because as a society, that's how we've been for a very long time. They're now discovering that this is the way they're going to save money, so that when we come out the other side of this, crisis, people are going to be trained and used to renting and getting their goods that way, such that it'll just be behavior, it'll just be their habits, and they're going to continue, and it's going to continue to soar.
All right, I'm going to have to try this out, Eric. Thanks so much for joining us today.
You're very welcome. Thanks for having me, Jackie.